Hey everybody. I know it's been a minute, but we are back and rolling far and fast with these. We'll be uploading regularly again, but welcome to this podcast episode. It's a good one. It was originally a live conversation that turned into a shit show. It was originally the topic is about how your dog's not special. And at a baseline, it's really a little rage baity for sure, but it's because there's too many people out there that think they have special privileges or their dog is special, can do no wrong. And then it causes behavioral issues constantly with their dog, or they ignore behavioral issues, right? And so we're having this conversation, and slowly we end up with a person who ends up being a direct representation to why we have this topic. So, without further ado, enjoy. We're gonna jump right into it.
I agree with him 100% because my dog is not a shelter dog. I'm sorry for even being here. I've had him since a puppy. I know his dad. If you look at my profile, you can see that I posted his dad. My last post is his dad. Um, but having a dog
So
from a
Martha,
puppy is a lot different from having a dog like 3 years old and trying to
okay,
retrain
so
it.
so Martha, Martha, sorry, Sanji, to cut you off. Martha, why pay that much when so many need to be adopted? Because people have different expectations of what they want their dog to be, and we can't shit on somebody for wanting to, right? And then as a poor person, you have a different opinion. Your opinion on how people decide to acquire their dog shouldn't be based on your income. You acquiring a dog a certain way based on your income is great. That's fine. But trying to have an opinion based on everybody else's expectations of dogs and how they get their dogs, it shouldn't be based on your own individual income. That's a ridiculous way to form an opinion.
To add in what you were saying, I have a lot of friends who have adopted shelter dogs and returned them because that dog did not, what the shelter told them how that dog was not when they got them at home.
Absolutely. Okay, so to do a behavioral assessment of shelter dogs is extremely hard. The reason why is because dogs are products of their environment, right? So they really love routine. They really love patterns, right? And when you start changing routines on the dogs, different environments, different smells, different routines, and so on, it's highly stressful. When a dog gets overstressed, they can shut down very easily. So there can be a shelter dog that they bring cats around. And the shelter dog's just like, oh, I'm not even gonna dig around with that, right? And then they tell the owner, oh, good around cats, good around kids. 3 months later, when the dog is finally comfortable in their own home and can actually show their true behavior, decides to rip apart their cat. Oh, they said they were good with cats. No, the dog was just shut down and didn't react towards the cat at the time because of all these other variables that are stressing it out. So yeah, it's extremely hard. It's the same thing as shelters trying to tell people what breed their dog is, right? Unless it's like 100% German Shepherd, or Malinois, or Husky, or whatever, where it's obviously that breed and it's a mutt. It's extremely hard to tell people what breed their dog is. So unless they're going to be doing a lot of genetic testing.
In my city, they just automatically assume. I like look through the shelter dog things all day, and I'm like, that's not the breed. like, and I'm
Yeah.
like scrolling through, like looking at these dogs, like that is not what that breed is. Like they just assume. And then these people get these dogs, and they're like, "Oh, my
hmm
dog is this," and I'm like, "You're that's no, that's not
Yeah,
what
no,
it
it's
is."
it's it's
And
really it's really poor. It's really poor quality of shelters trying to come up with what the dog breed is, without actually knowing with genetic testing. Because what happens is when we have dogs and we actually look up the breed, understand the breed, then we're better set up for success, right? And then when the dogs do a certain behaviors that we don't understand, that is actually for that breed's genetic behaviors. It's because the shelters told us wrong, right? That's why like almost every single dog that looks like a pit bull, shelters call it a pit bull, even if it's not a pit bull, right? Or your dog,
100% is so
they
annoying.
claim. They make all these claims like if your dog has any type of merle, it's now a Catahoula leopard dog, right? When that's not the case,
But
and
but
and
there's
it's
moral bullies.
ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. So when it really comes down to it, like if they're starting, for instance, let's say they try to say your dog is a let's say a bloodhound, right? And that's what they try to say your dog is. But your dog is acting 100% like a pit bull terrier would towards other dogs. You're gonna be like, why? This is wrong. Why is my bloodhound doing this, right? It's kind of like that, right? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like when you get a shelter dog, like you need to do like a DNA test, like off rip, or you just
Go
need
on,
to
I got you.
spend the time and emotion into that dog
Gotcha. Hey,
and find
boys.
the dog
Um,
for who it is
Barbie,
once it
you
gets
said
comfortable.
the your in this post is clipped off. All right, let me fix that real quick for y'all.
It just fixed. It looks like.
No, I can see it fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it fine since you're up here, but the guests will see a different style of screen. So if I do that and then this, boom, there we go, fixed.
Got you.
Period. We're talking about the background. If you have a shelter dog, it's not special.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, it's really a baseline of too many people out there thinks their dogs are special, and then there's all these shelter dogs with trauma and dangerous behaviors, and they're like, my dog's special, so they ignore the dangerous behaviors, and then we have issues.
I get that. Okay, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I have this. Yes, it's a bit baity, right? It's rage bait for sure, but it's so that way I can open up that conversation because there's way too many people out there that think their dog is special, and so they ignore the dangerous behaviors.
Can we talk about something real quick with that same? You just said something about, there's a lot of dogs out there with trauma. So
Yeah.
to me, it's funny because like, I get a dog can have a traumatic experience in a sense, but I also feel that we baby that aspect in a lot of ways. Like, oh, my dog he has trauma to this, so we have to be nice.
Absolutely.
We got to do this. And to me, it's kind of like shut up, put a prong in the motherfucker, walk him, he'll be fine. Like dogs adapt so quickly. I seen a dog when I was growing up, hit by a car, lost the front leg. Like within the week, he's running like if he has all four on. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
we baby this aspect
Look,
so much.
I've seen it before where we had dogs that had like high level of abuse trauma, right? And so they were very aggression and anxiety towards humans, right? And then people have been working with other trainers and stuff, spending years of daily work with this dog, trying to baby it through some things to where when I finally get hired, we work on a lot of exposure, right? A lot of exposure, and within a couple weeks, the dog is already making huge progress because the dog is now dealing with their issues, and we're starting to supersede the fact that people aren't scary.
Yes, I agree. Like that's one reason why I love a prong so much. And I got a backlash before because I mentioned this not on TikTok or anything. But if I have, I think I've mentioned to you, if I have to work a dog because it's fearful or react or whatever it may be, if it makes sense, I'll do it, right? Because, depending on where you live, depending on the situation, sometimes you don't need to put a dog
I mean,
through
there's so many variables. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
like a lot of people don't realize, like for instance, when I'm working aggression, right? When I'm working aggression, if you ever look at any of my videos, the long content stuff and the short content, you're gonna see a lot of me like really front forward with that dog, right? And you're gonna see me really lean towards the punishment side of things at first, right? And people are like, "Oh, you're compulsion." No, 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 no. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at what the owner can actually fucking handle, and the owner can't handle this dog and the dog's behavior. So to set them up for success, we need to stump this behavior right now, so that way we can start working on the positive reinforcement. We can start working on the classical conditioning, and so I absolutely do that, and people hate it. People hate that, and it's like, look, I'm not going to spend half a year trying to toss treats at this dog. That's unacceptable.
No,
No,
I agree with you
no,
100%.
I don't believe in treat training at all. Like my
Why not?
dog right now, he's 100% a good boy, and he is not treat trained. He loves treats, but not treat
So
trained. And I've had him since a puppy, but like other dogs that I bring around, we don't do that. You're
okay,
not
so
getting a treat unless you actually
how do
do
you teach
something.
him? How do you teach the dog certain behaviors, like to increase behaviors? What do you do? Like if you want
I
the dog to
actually
sit,
do
what do you
like
do?
the choker collar treatment.
So compulsion
So
mode.
Okay,
I
so
redirect
it's
him.
compulsion style training. The compulsion style training. Okay. So yes, that method will work absolutely. What happens a lot of times though, if we're using just strictly compulsion, is we are removing a lot of the dog's certain personality traits to where they're kind of more robotic when it comes to listening. Not always a bad thing, right? It can be done right. The reason why a lot of treat training is extremely effective is because studies show that reward-based training is highly effective of molding and shaping new behaviors, right? And then after the dog understands said behavior by shaping and molding it, then that's when we can go into the positive punishment, negative reinforcement, compulsion stuff to make sure the dog understands fully that this is what we want from the reward side of things and this is what we don't want, right?
Okay,
So if we only
I
teach
think
the dog...
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think you misunderstood me. I don't treat train or reward train. I love on them, give them all the belly rubs and all that.
Praise, so
Okay, so that is a treat to a dog.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
reward.
So, like, not an actual like treat. Like, hey, good job. Love it
Yeah, I
on
mean,
them.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
and
I
I'll
do.
say it plenty of times. There's a lot of people out there that like my dogs, even like you said, your dogs like treats and stuff. But let's go with a different route where a dog just doesn't give a shit about treats, right? But the dog really loves a certain toy. Then the people will use that toy to reinforce the dog's training, right?
Yeah.
Same with you right now. You don't if your dogs are accepting praise and affection, pets, physical touch, and is highly rewarding to the dog, then absolutely you can train that way.
now I got a question for you. Do you pet him and love on them even when they're not doing like, in a sense that would be okay? But what I mean is like, how much value does the praise have for the dog? That's I guess what I'm asking.
He only gets praise when he's doing something right. If he's not doing something right, do not touch me, get off me.
Got you. So when
So
you
so
love
you
on
you're
him,
consistent.
Consistent, yes. Consistency is like literally the key. Whatever route you choose, consistency is the key. Like whether you
Bullies, how
choose
many
the
times
tree
have I said
train,
that?
whether you
Listen
choose
to
the
time,
toy train, whatever you choose to do, consistency. You have to be consistent with everything you do. If you're not consistent, that dog has no idea what's going on.
true. I agree with
Yeah,
you
it will confuse the dog.
100%. No, 100%. Like, if you slack, I forgot someone said, I forgot who it was. It's like, if the dog jumps on the couch 100 times, but you only corrected him 99 times, that one win is going to take over. He's going to continue doing it, continue doing it. You have to be consistent 100% of the time. It's hard.
Yeah, so
It's not difficult.
so I actually recently posted a video. You might want to see it and stuff. It's me showing my dogs just invading my personal space and me allowing them to not have boundaries, right? But the reason why is because my dogs already understand the boundaries, and then at the end of it, all I had to do was say down, and bam, they're done. And then so the whole video was kind of like mocking the whole ideas that don't give allow your dogs not to have boundaries. But at the end of it, me showing a really quick down, and they just immediately left me.
Yeah, so
That was
once they're
and then I look at
trained,
the screen, I'm like, and that's what it takes. You train the dog, you set the boundaries, and then
Right.
what you can do from there is you as the human get to decide when you can ignore said boundaries,
Yeah.
right? Based on
Exactly.
So for sure.
Exactly. And that's how my dog is today. Like, so he jumps up a lot, right? So like what I was saying, so like my dog like jumps up on people. And like I always
Okay.
text people beforehand, like my dog will jump up on you if you allow him. So
Yeah.
if you do not want him to jump up on you, say no down.
So what I'm saying with it,
So hold on. So a lot of people that come in, they don't do that, and they're like, "Oh, I love it. Like I want
So
him to
that's
jump
that's
up
the
on
problem
me."
right there. That's the problem. They're dogs jumping up. They're petting the dog. The dog's getting rewarded for the behavior. Now the behavior is increasing, right?
No, but he will.
That's exactly what's happening.
No. He will down as soon as I say down. As soon as I say down. But I always tell them, "Hey, like just to let you know, like if you like it, like I'll let you. Like go ahead." They're like, "Oh, I like it," and so he jumps up and he like grabs on you like a cat. Like he will dig his claws into you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, "Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I
Okay,
don't like it."
so
And
the
I'm like,
dog knows the
"Okay,
boundaries.
Sanji." Right, so I'm like,
So the
"Okay,
dog knows the
Sanji, down,"
boundaries,
and he
but
gets down.
yeah, so you have the command set, and then you allow your dog to do behaviors until you don't allow it anymore. So here's a good example: Nezzy, my dog, right? When I get home from work, I allow Nezzy to dogpile me, right? I allow her to do that, but she also,
Love my dog
due
to
to
do it
other
too.
people like
It's
my
a thing.
mother-in-law, my dog will run up to her when he sees her, stop and lean because he understands the difference.
Oh yeah, no,
So
100%. At children and older people, he does not do that to at all.
So hold on, really quick, two
Yeah, if
things.
it's a
So
child or an older person, he will not at all.
actually, I have a question real quick. So SK9 brought up a good thing. She talked about it's creating patterns. Jumps, tell him down, praise. So it's like, oh, okay, let me jump up. Tells me down and get praise. So let me just keep doing this for it to work. When you create patterns, the dog starts to
yep.
anticipate. It's like he kind of tries to play the game. Oh, if I do this, this is what I'm gonna get. But I also want to bring up if you're correcting the dog or the dog does something wrong, if there's enough time lapse, and then you do that. Say, for example, he went after a cat. You couldn't really, you didn't have anything on a leash, no e-collar, whatever. And you look at him, and the cat got over, but you tell him to come back, and you reward. Would that still be considered a pattern?
Yes.
Well, it will be if it's consistent. If the dog does that multiple times and you reward after the
You don't
comeback,
you
then
don't
now you've
you
created a
don't
consistent
reward the
behavioral pattern.
you do not reward the dog because he came back after trying to attack a cat.
Yeah, but at what point? Because so we talk about when to reward, the timing of rewarding, and or adding a punishment. Did we talk about it's like what between
It
one and
wouldn't be
two?
a punishment either. It would be
But
neither.
I get that. No,
So
technically no, because if you rehold the praise, that's considered negative punishment. You're not giving him what he wants because he did something bad. But
not necessarily.
uh,
Not necessarily. So the dog is not is if you don't reward or punish, it's nothing, right? The reason why the dog comes back is because it's the anticipation of the payment, right?
yeah,
You don't have to always reward a dog when they do your commands. You actually shouldn't reward a dog every single time, right? Or at that point, we're bribing the dog, right? And if we're bribing the dog's not trained. Now the dog needs to the reason why the dog is doing the behaviors without said reward is for the anticipation of payment that they will eventually get for doing said stuff. So if the dog runs and chases a cat and then you're like, no, back, come, or whatever recall you have, and the dog comes back to you, that's fine. The dog comes back to you, and then you just keep moving on with your life. You can easily do that. But again, if you want to reward the dog for coming back, that's fine too. As long as it's not a consistent behavior where the dog chases an animal, then you bring the dog back and then you praise. Then at that point, you're creating that pattern. Right?
so like yeah, like
So,
what SK9 just said, if you reward for an extra behavior versus just not chasing, you avoid the pattern. You know what I'm saying? So, and I guess that's what I'm getting at is in the sense like you missed one opportunity for a punishment, but then he created a behavior for coming back. Like, can you get away
yeah.
with it? Can you not?
Yeah. So yes, and SK9 is absolutely right with that. When they come back, you can absolutely reward that coming back behavior. But again, if the pattern, it's
Yeah.
just the same thing as like if we want to teach the dog to ring a bell on your
Yeah.
door, right? We're gonna first teach the dog Paul, then we're gonna start adding things onto it so that way they can learn that's what we want, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
creating the
disagree.
pattern or it. Okay,
I
what do you disagree
disagree
with?
for the simple fact that if my dog already knows recall, right? And he
Okay.
knows when I call him back, it's time to call back.
Okay.
I mean, he's chasing something that he's not supposed to be chasing, and I tell him to come back, just like my dog has done recently with a deer. He likes to chase deer, which is
Okay.
dangerous as heck. He did not get rewarded at all. He came
Okay.
inside,
Yeah.
and I told him, go lay down. I didn't pet him. I didn't touch him. I didn't do nothing. And guess what never happened again? He never chased a deer again.
So I guess what I would get at is if I missed opportunity for the punishment, then to come back and that's what I was talking about, giving to a different position so that I could finish reward, and then I set up the scenario again where however I can manage it, and then add the punishment, recall, and then reward. At that point, the punishment would be, hey, you chased this punishment, told you to come back, you came back, reward. What do you think about that?
I don't think you should punish a dog for chasing because that's like drive. It depends on your dog breed.
Yeah, but you
No,
can
not
always teach them what
necessarily.
to
It's
try,
not
what
just your
to.
dog breed. It's dangerous behaviors, right? You got to teach a dog not to do dangerous behaviors, right?
But if they're
So for
chasing an animal,
instance,
that depends on the
your
breed, right?
example. So your example that you said that when you recalled your
Yeah.
dog and went inside, if your dog never chased a deer again and you reduce that behavior somehow, then whatever you did is a form of punishment.
Exactly. I did nothing. I didn't touch him anymore. Like, normally, like we cuddle and do all that. None of that happened. None of that
I
happened.
know,
But
but
I
what
mean,
I'm
like,
saying is in learning theory,
but
if
like
you
a lot
did
of people
something to
like
reduce a
take
behavior, it's
punishment to
considered
like
a
a lot.
punishment.
Right. So a lot of people take punishment to like punishing. You know what I'm saying? Like they take it to a different level, and that's not
But
needed with
you're
them.
talking about corporal punishment, hitting and stuff like
Yes.
that. Yeah, no, but that's the problem. That people are afraid of the word punishment when punishment in learning theory just means to reduce a behavior. That's
Yeah,
why these
and
conversations are
it
important.
could be a prong, it could be an e-collar. Certain situations, like I don't know, if you have nothing for whatever reason, and your dog just went after your kid, you're gonna do what you need to do with what you have to reduce that percentage. Because now you just okay, I didn't do nothing. There was no
Yeah.
repercussions
Well, we're
whatsoever.
not talking about dogs that going after kids.
No, no, but I'm talking
That's a
about in
little
general
different.
when we talk about going after a cat, whether you
A
like you
dangerous
said
behavior is a dangerous behavior. It doesn't
exactly.
matter if it's a human or another animal. A dangerous behavior
Right.
is a dangerous behavior, and it needs to be dealt with. Should you beat the shit out of your dog? No, absolutely not. But we need to know what punishment is, right? So again, you said that you should not, depending on breed, and reducing drive or whatever you were saying, and you were saying that you don't believe that you should stop a dog from chasing animals, yet you stopped your dog from chasing deer.
No, I never said you should not. I never said that.
But this hypothetical situation will be avoided with a leash.
I never
Yes,
said
you're
you should.
100%
You
right.
should not chase. You should most definitely stop your dog from chasing anything.
Okay.
Unless
Just
it's a
keep them on a
working
leash.
dog, you should instantly stop your dog. If that's a home dog, that's a house dog, you should instantly stop that dog from chasing it. So they don't have.
But you were talking about the drive, and you said that you believe that you should allow your dogs
I
to
said
chase
it
stuff.
depends on the breed. Different breeds are different. Like I don't deal with breeds that are bred to chase animals. Okay. So I deal with pit bulls and bullies.
You think
Sometimes
pit bulls are
huskies, I
not
have
bred to
them
be
around.
animal aggression? You think pit
Huh?
bulls don't have animal aggression? That's literally in their
None of
genetics.
my pit bulls have ever had
Do
animal
you have real
aggression.
pit bulls or do you have mixes that
I've
you
I've
hunted?
You
had
must.
real pit bulls. I've had real pit bulls.
So you're talking
They did
about
not.
game bred?
But I also raised them since puppies. These were not what I got from someone else. They like learned from me. So it's different if you grow them from a puppy.
They're terriers. No, that's not true at all. If you have like you're
This
going
is
into a completely
100%
different.
true.
It's not because you're going into
Let me
a
see here.
different scenario. Now you have dogs that might be a little bit watered down. You have dogs that have less drive than the regular, but it like as Canine said, it's a terrier. Terriers were literally bred for a specific reason. Now you're talking
Right,
about what kind of
right. And
terrier?
so my terrier is the one who taught my bully to run into the field to chase the deer.
I
Now
guarantee
they
they
were
didn't teach
not
your
now
buddy to do that. Your
they
buddy
were
already
not
knew how to do
chasing
that.
now they were not chasing the deer to kill them or anything like that.
You don't know
They were
that.
not.
You didn't catch
No,
it.
they literally grew up with the baby deer over here.
Okay, and
And the baby
that's
deer
a new
played
one.
with them.
But
Look. I have plenty of people that their dogs grew up with children, and then those dogs
No,
went and
pit
had
bulls
why
are
would
not
you
and bit
nanny
a
do?
dogs.
child.
Yo,
Pit
Cam,
bulls are
informer,
not
you
nanny
had to
dogs at
change the
all. I don't
background,
know
didn't
where
you?
that fucking came from. Pit bulls are not nanny dogs.
Yeah, but pit bulls are bred to be animal aggressive.
That's the whole reason for them. Now you're talking
That's
about
literally in UKC breed standards.
yes, especially you get into the conversation of game bred, which I'm no expert, nor should I touch that subject. But if you want to,
Right. But if you have a dog since a puppy, how is it gonna grow up? Your
genetics,
standards, right?
genetics though, genetics plays a
Okay, so
huge role
I
in
like to
this.
break it down like this: 50% genetics, 30% environment, 20% owner. That's what's going
Yeah.
to dictate the dog's behavior.
Yeah, and none of my dogs have ever been aggressive at all. I've literally had pit bulls that have been attacked by other dogs and they just lay down
Then that's not
and
that's
looked at me like,
if
get
you
them
take a
off me.
person that breeds pit bulls, they would tell you that dog is not up to standard.
So
If it lay
so
down,
It
here's
was
the
a hundred
problem with
percent up to
here's the
standard.
problem with dog owners, all right, and I say this all the time. Your anecdotal experience with your couple dogs does not represent the breed.
yeah.
No, 100%. I'm not saying for all breeds
No,
at
talk
all.
about that
I'm
particular
saying my
breed.
dogs. That's what you're misinterpreting. I'm saying my dogs.
Well, you actually said pit bulls in general. You
No,
didn't
I
say
didn't say
my.
injured. I said
Okay.
my dogs, who I had pit
No,
bulls.
you said that you don't deal with dogs that have drive to be aggressive, yet you get pit bulls. You deal with dogs that are bred for
No, no,
that.
no. I meant
Don't
like
no, don't change the
no,
goalposts.
I meant like the hunter dogs, like the hunter dogs and stuff.
But
Whatever.
Jesus Christ, Tori, stop!
So you know pit bull terriers. Okay, so we do know their history that they were bred
One hundred
from bull
percent
baiting dogs
yes.
and
And
other
I've
and then
dealt
bred
with
for
some
blood sport.
aggressive ass pit
So
bulls.
so because that's been outlawed for a very long time now, you know what they use pit bull terriers for?
Catch dogs.
No, they use them for hunting wild boar.
Yes.
So you don't deal with hunter dogs?
So the pit bulls today that we have in America,
No. Those are pit bulls in America. Like, I would send you a page on TikTok.
these dogs are bred different. They're not the same. Like they can be bred, like they can be different.
Then you don't
But
have a
I'm
well-bred
just
pit bull,
saying,
or you don't have a pedigree full-blooded pit bull. Like
I've had them and they've been
what
fucking
line?
amazing.
What lines?
Like, they've been amazing. They're smart.
What
They learn
bloodline?
very quickly.
What
Huh?
bloodline of pit bulls did you get? What bloodline?
Well, I haven't had a pit bull in a couple years now. I don't
You
even
would
have
if
the
you had a
paperwork
if you had a
anymore.
pet if you had a well-bred fully genetic pit bull, you would know what line.
But you go hold on. But it really quick on that aspect too. You will find because technically an Amstaff is technically a pit bull. Then you got UKC standards, which
Oh,
aren't
and staff is
necessarily
not a pit bull at all.
they're a branch off pit bulls. They're okay.
It's a
So
whole different breed.
okay, but if you talk about UKC standards too, they're pit bulls, but they're not necessarily game bred either. Like, there was a split in the line at some point. Again, I'm not.
The reason why I brought up UKC standards is because they fully recognize pit bull terriers as an individual breed, while the AKC does recognize them, but doesn't recognize them to such a high level
Got you.
as their own breed. So that's why I brought up UKC.
Yeah, the AKC doesn't recognize the actual people.
They recognize the pit bull. AKC recognizes pit bull just like they recognize Catahoula leopard dog, where they know that it's a breed, but they're not going to really say that it's a breed. You know.
But going back to what we were talking about, when you're talking about game bred, you're talking about all this. What Inform was saying, like
Well,
you know
game
the
bred,
name where they're coming from.
what I was talking about with game bred is like coon hounds and stuff like that. Like I
What
don't,
what
I don't,
do you
I
know
don't know
what
how
game
to
bred
explain.
is? Do you
Like,
do you know what do you know what game bred is? Like what it actually means in dog breeds and dogs?
no, inform me.
All right, bullies.
Yes.
Go ahead.
game bred,
And do some
okay.
informing.
So game bred, if you want to look at a definition, I don't know off the top of my head, but basically means the dog is willing to continue the fight regardless of its condition, meaning it is going to continue to push the fight whether it is bleeding, missing a foot, whatever it may be. And that has been today when you use catch dogs, they're still using that same genetics, so it continues to fight with the boar.
Okay, understood. Understood. So exactly like with my dogs, they would be willing to do that, but I never allowed that. If that makes sense. Like I didn't allow that. If I'm right there, like if I wasn't there and an animal attacked them, they would probably tear that animal up, just like my bully right here.
Okay, so
But
let's
I'm right
full
there
circle
with my
around.
dogs 24/7. There would never be a time that my dog is outside of my eye limit ever.
So now,
Okay, good. You're responsible as an owner. Great. Now, I just want to full circle back around. So, can we actually technically say that you do work or get dogs that are
maybe
animal aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that my dog breed is animal aggressive. Yes, 100%. The
Okay.
dog I have right
Yeah, that's
now,
really what I wanted to get at because
his
when it comes to
breed
the
is
topic at
animal
hand, it's
aggressive. Yeah,
important to understand that, especially
his
when it comes to
breed.
like pit bulls
Well,
that people
what
have
they say is
misconceptions about.
his breed is also people aggressive.
Well, it depends on the bloodline. There are certain bloodlines that are still bred today to be people aggressive, but the majority of pit bull bloodlines were not bred to be human
Well, I'm
aggressive. That's why
sorry.
you have
I
so
don't
many
have
people
a.
out there that are like, my
I'm talking
pit
about
bull
bullies.
is a love bug and loves people. It's like, great, you got a pit bull. That's what
No,
they were
no,
bred to
no.
be like.
I was talking about bullies. I'm sorry.
well, bully. The thing is, what's a bully? You gotta remember where they came from. So you like we're getting to the whole different
Bullies are
thing, but
not pit bulls.
no. But where did the people come from? Like you gotta remember, like bullies are like when you talk about the blue nose as well. Where a lot of people talk about that's not a real pit bull breed. That's a mix, and you talk about American Pit Bull Terrier mixed with other possible massive so on and so forth to get it. When you're talking about a bully that where do you think it's coming from? There's just definitely people in that line at some point to get that new breed. Like new dogs don't just pop up out of nowhere; they're created.
So, so I mean, bullies, I would say, comes actually from more of English bulldogs, the predecessor of the pit bull.
Thank you.
Still,
So,
predecessor
so,
pit bull.
but
Coming down to it's still all coming from the same mixes here and there. Which the bulldog, the original bulldog, was what was based. So talk about you go back to Spain. We talk about bull baiting, and then they after that became not so great. It America came up with the American Pit Bull Terrier, Ireland, so on and so forth. Like, there's some mixes, so it still comes down to those dogs all come from at some point genetically come from the same line. So you still have dogs that are aggressive that still come from they're either animal aggressive,
So
dog aggressive, or dogs
so
could also be.
bullies are not as aggressive as pit bulls. So bullies are like the couch potatoes compared to a pit bull.
Have you not seen what's going on in the UK with XL bullies? Bad
That's
training.
literally all made up. Like that's literally all made up.
It's bad owners. Like there's still dogs that have the propensity to be aggressive. You know, like you have dogs that
Any dog can be aggressive.
okay.
I can grab a mutt from the pound right now and make it aggressive.
I mean, yeah, you can have the most behaviorally sound dog in the world, and with bad ownership, bad handling, you can absolutely have that dog with behavioral issues for sure. But the propensity of a pit bull being an animal aggressive versus a golden retriever is vastly different due to genetics. You know, there's nothing
100%.
wrong with owning a
I'm sorry, go ahead.
pit. Sorry, am I?
You're cutting out a little bit.
So can you hear me? Hello.
Am I here?
Sorry about that. My TikTok told me to log back into my live. So I apologize.
I did a quick Google search. Whatever you wanna, however you wanna take it. So it said the American Bully. So we're talking about bullies. American Bully's a bully. Is a cross between American Pit Bull Terrier.
Which is not
Bullies,
true.
you call
So stay off Google.
And bulldogs.
So stay off Google.
Okay, you're right.
Stay off Google.
So the way
Google is
the way
not real.
Google works.
Google's never biased.
So I mean, Google can have good information if you actually look further into information. The
Sure.
thing about Google with the top results and stuff when you just type in something, is
Yeah.
the algorithm is based off of popularity. So if there's enough websites saying the same thing, then that's going to be the top result, whether it's factual or not.
Point being, it's still a bulldog regardless. It's still bulldog was used as a guard dog for many years. Definitely aggression built into that dog genetically.
Okay, so let me tell you this. So my dog is a standard bully.
Okay.
Now, Standard and the classic, or the less aggressive of the two. So the pocket bullies are the most aggressive. And that's them little ugly little. I hate pocket bullies.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry
when it comes to these,
for
when it comes
anybody
to
who owns a pocket bully.
when it comes to these exotic bully breeds, they're mutts is what they are, and a
Yes.
lot of times they are backyard bred, unethically bred.
100%, I agree.
So the reason why you're going to get a lot of these dogs that have these heightened levels of aggression is because of bad breeding.
That's what I've been saying for so long. And they're like, why is your bully so well behaved? And I'm like, he's not backyard bred. Like he
I
is
mean, what kind of
backyard
bully do
bred,
you
but
have
like
again?
he is backyard bred, but like he comes from an XL bully from his dad. I don't even have his papers, honestly. But he comes from a long line of good breeds. I just don't have. So when I got him, he was about dead, honest to God.
Yes,
And
can I agree?
I broke up with my boyfriend that gave him to me right after I got him. So I wasn't able to get his paperwork. But like no, like the breed is good. Like,
So SK9, yeah. So aggression isn't inherently bad. I agree. If the breed is that, if that's the purpose, examples pit bull terriers, being animal aggression, that's not bad, right? But if it's just bad breeding and it's just creating a genetic disposition to aggression because of it without any thought or foresight, then that's not good. That's my personal opinion. Welcome to my TED Talk.
I like some aggression, she says.
I like some aggression too, but my dog he just won't be aggressive. How do I make him aggressive?
You don't want to. I mean, why would you want to? You already probably have scary dog privilege from what it sounds like. Why do you need your dog to be aggressive?
Right? Like literally, he's the sweetest, most good boy, and like all I have to do is take him outside, and people are like, "Oh," so yeah, no, you're exactly right. Like they look at him, they're like, "Oh God."
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to put it back to the other topic
He
real
looks
quick. I just
he
put
looks
this
a
one up.
lot different. He looks a lot different in person than you see on the videos, by the way. Like when you see him in person, you're like, holy shit. Like that's a big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. Yep. And that was a good talk. Good conversation.
It was good. That was fun. It was riveting.
I like discussions, especially like even if we're passionate about it, like at least it's ending on a good note. I've had people,
Yes.
comment and they're just screaming
No.
before I just drop them eventually.
Can I comment SK9? If you touch me, he will get aggressive.
Now, is he trained to do that, or is he just doing that?
He just does it.
That's a fun topic. Okay, so I know what you're going to bring up.
Hold on.
Okay, if a
So
dog is not trained,
he's not
if your
gonna
dog is not
bite
trained for
you.
protection, yeah, if your dog is not trained for protection, and acts aggressively or resource guards or anything like that, that's called reactivity. There's way too many people out there that say, "Oh, my dog's
Wait, hold on,
protective."
hold
It's
on,
like, no,
hold on,
your
hold on,
dog's
hold on.
reactive.
No, hold on, pause. He's not reactive. So he's a very good dog, but he's seen me get abused. So if you like come at me aggressively, like you have to actually come at me aggressively. Like if you come up and give me a hug, fine. We're good. But if you like put your hands up like you're about to punch me, that's when he's gonna react.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not necessarily
which makes him
protecting
reactive.
you.
If he's going
Yeah.
to react, then that's reactivity.
And the reason, and it's a really nuanced thing, because you feel, and most people feel, my dog is protecting. Is it really protecting you?
He's
or is
not
it protecting-
protective at all. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even say he's protective.
Well, you're talking about.
I mean,
when
he's
you say-
reacting. He's reacting to a situation that scares the shit out of him. Like
Yeah,
that's.
when I say
and honestly,
protective-
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm
Yeah.
just, we gotta just put it in perspective, right?
No, this is
there's
new.
nothing wrong
this
with
is
that.
new. This is new that he just started doing, which I'm very glad that he's doing it. Before he just kind of like went in a corner and like peed on himself. Like, honest to God, like I'm gonna be honest. So this is new now that I'm a single woman and I'm living by myself. Like he's like the man of the house. So like he has to protect things. So like if I feel like
You
I'm in
said he's the
danger
man of the house.
at this point, yes, but no.
You
Yes, but
just,
no.
but
Like
you're
I
giving
control
him that
everything.
role.
Like I control everything. Like he's not doing anything without my permission. But like if somebody broke in right now and came at me with a gun and like came at me aggressively, like he would actually react. Before he would not.
Yeah.
Before he
Yeah.
would go
So yeah.
run and hide
Yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah,
corner.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So what I would say is the idea that my dog's the man of the house now. My dog's acting a certain way is make sure you do have those fucking boundaries.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you really want to, go look at my first pin video on my profile, and you'll see what happens when somebody ignores those boundaries and their dog becomes the man of the house.
Oh, the one that broke
No,
your ribs.
no, hell no.
Yeah, it's the dog that broke my ribs.
I am the mom. Like I control everything. Like you do not eat. Like, do not come at me crazy. No, honest to God, this is my first male dog. And when he turned 6 months old, he's 3 years old now. When he turned 6 months old, I was scared of him. I was scared of him.
Why?
Jesus Christ, Tori.
It was my first male dog. I didn't know how, because I was always taught that if they don't get fixed, they're just going to be aggressive. So like I was scared.
I would never listen to that person's advice ever again.
Yeah, no, never again. Never again. So after a while, after I like kind of got to know, he just talked shit. He did a whole lot of barking and yipping and yapping, and I'm like, who are you talking to? Like, and so he's just very vocal when he wants certain things. And now like we have it to a standpoint. Like I said, he's 3 years old now. And I've had him since a puppy. So like we're good. We're good. But recently he has been stepping up and being the protector that I wanted him to be in the first place.
Do you know what
Because I
sparked
always
the
said,
behavioral
like,
changes?
why do I have this big dog and he like doesn't do anything?
Yeah, but do you understand the behavioral changes? Like what sparked,
Yes.
what happened to make those behaviors change?
My ex beating the crap out of me.
That's one. There's a few things.
So my ex beating the crap out of me, he didn't like it. And now that my ex is fully gone,
Okay, so
and now that he sees that
So-
I'm like doing my own thing, like he's like, never again. Like that will never happen again.
okay,
You're
so
giving
that's
that
a
dog a
very
lot of
that's a very so here's my problem with this, right? That's a very dangerous behavioral change. A very dangerous behavioral change, right? Because the only reason why your dog changed behaviors is because of the fear that they got from
But
seeing
hear me
something
out, though.
violent happen to
Hear
you,
me out,
right?
though.
Wait, no, hear me out the full way through, right? Unless you are working with a trainer to teach personal protection dogs, right? Bite work dogs, then what's going to happen is that dog will eventually see everybody as a threat.
He doesn't.
And your dog
though.
is a big dog.
He does not.
He doesn't right
does
now.
not.
He doesn't
I
right now.
literally-
But
I
if the
literally
fear,
just
if the
tonight-
fear was, if the fear
Hold on.
that he got was controlling a behavioral change to make him more aggressive, then that can
It's not
completely
aggressive.
100%.
It's not aggressive. It's not.
What would you
aggressive.
call it? What would you call it?
Okay, so I took him outside earlier today.
What would you call it? I didn't. I
Listen.
don't want to. I don't want a bedtime story. What would you call it?
He's not aggressive. He's protective.
We just,
See,
you
he's
just-
not
he's not
protective. He's
protective.
reactive. Are you training him for protection? Does he have an out?
Yes, he has an out. Yes, he does.
How have you trained? How have you trained him to have an out?
What he
Sanji
do?
down.
But how have you trained him to have an out?
The Sanji down has been a thing since he's been a puppy.
No,
Training a dog
outs.
down, and training a dog a down or an emergency down is not an out. How have you trained a dog and out? If the dog attacks somebody, how are you going to get that dog
He
off
will
that
not
person?
attack somebody. that's that's what you're misconstruing.
You know how many
He
people sit
literally
there
just
and have
met
shocked
a random
Pikachu
man
face when their
tonight.
dog attacks
He
their
literally
child?
just
It
met
happens
a
all the
random man
time.
tonight. He literally just met a random man tonight. I was checking on my car because, like I said, my car got broken into twice. So I went out there and checked on my car, just like I said. And this man was like, "Oh, your dog is beautiful." I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Okay, so
And he said, "Would
I mean,
he said,
this is
can I
no
pet him?" And I said, "Yes, you
this is
can."
no trust me, I'm not this is no call out on you on your capabilities or knowledge, but in what capacity on any at what capacity do you have of your understanding of learning theory and dog behavior?
So I understand dog behavior 100%, but I also
And how
understand
where
my
did you get the
dog
knowledge? Where did you get the knowledge from that?
from raising multiple dogs from
That's
puppies.
not good enough to make those opinions. That's what I'm saying. You're talking to a professional. I've been doing this for years and I work specifically with aggression and reactivity. And you're completely blowing off everything that I'm telling
Okay.
you because,
So
oh no, my dog is special.
I've
Your dog's
had
not
reactive
special.
dogs come to my house constantly. I've had reactive dogs come to my house with my dog, who is a reactive dog, if you would say. And they came in the house and he checked them and he calmed them the fuck down.
I don't know if
Sister,
I'd
you still
allow
They
there?
were
that.
no longer reactive after that. So I don't know what
Sister,
else to tell
Sister
you.
Marina, are you still there? So basically, I had this topic up earlier, and it was upsetting some people, and I was explaining them that your shelter dog isn't special, but that goes across boards with all dogs. And the whole reason for that topic is because there's way too many people that think their dogs are special and ignores dangerous behaviors. And you're a key example of that right now, Sanji.
My dog is not a shelter dog.
That he
I
just said
know,
it
but
doesn't
you're
mean
ignoring. But you think your dog is so special that you're ignoring dangerous behaviors.
How is he dangerous? Like if you literally met my dog, you'd be like, "Oh, he's the
If
coolest
a
dog ever."
if your dog changes from a fearful behavior where they're backing off, they don't want to do anything when it comes to aggression, to now being overly protective of certain
No,
scenarios
he
based on
doesn't
the
bite.
fact
He
based off of it doesn't have to bite to end up becoming a bite, right? That's how
no,
it
all he
starts.
does is alert
No, don't
me.
say no to me. I'm telling you exactly from a professional
No, no,
experience,
no. Okay,
working
take a
with
breath. Take a
at
breath. Take
least
a
a
breath.
You're
Take a
thousand
breath.
going
dogs.
too you're going too far with it. Like
No,
have you raised
ma'am.
I'm
dogs
not
as a
going too
Second.
puppy?
far. I'm going
Ma'am.
far enough to stop somebody from being mauled or your dog being put down because you ignored
Okay, well,
signs.
so my dog is different from a shelter dog. Okay, I
My dog's
understand a
special. Your
shelter
dog's not
dog
fucking
is
special.
different.
Your dog's not
My
special.
dog's
I don't
not
care. Your dog
special.
was
Now my
backyard
dog's not
bred,
special at
fucking
all.
special bully mutt or whatever. It's not special. This
He's
is
not a
like it's
fucking bully, man. So
insufferable. You're
calm your fucking nerves.
insufferable because
Calm
you're
your fucking
ignoring
nerves.
everything.
Calm your nerves. Calm your nerves. He's not a shelter dog. I understand what you're saying about shelter dogs. I
You're
understand that.
right. Your dog's a backyard bred dog. It makes it
He's
worse.
not a backyard bred dog.
You said he was a backyard bred dog.
Hold
Now
on.
you're saying
Hey,
he's not.
No,
informer.
You
I
have moved
did
the
Informer,
not.
goalpost
can you
10
give me
You
the
different
said
times.
that. You
informer?
said that,
Look,
bro. You
Can you give me
said
the
you
can you give
that.
me
said,
the floor for a second? Can you give me the floor for a second? Breathe.
okay.
All right. Sanji, check this out. So follow me for a second. He is not saying that your dog not because it's he's not because he's your dog. You're choosing to ignore certain things that may potentially lead to something that you do not want to happen in the future. We understand it's not a shelter dog, but his point stands that just because he is your dog does not mean he is special. What he were trying to get at, him growling at certain times out of nowhere just because someone comes around you, like you said has happened, is a form of aggression, and that can then lead to escalation, which can potentially lead to a bite or worse. What we're trying to get at, and what everybody else is trying to get to you, is because of how you feel, because of the unfortunate situations that has happened to you, you are giving your dog a certain amount of power that is going to lead him to make decisions on his own, And even though you do have a good household, you run everything, food and everything. He has to work for it. Seems like that's what you're explaining. There is still a propensity for at some point, because where you're unsure at some point, the
You're
dog is going to make a
wrong.
decision.
When I say he low growls to alert me, as I've been trying to
A
say.
growl is a growl.
No,
Okay.
no, a growl is not a growl. There are different types of growl. There are very different types of growl.
Yes, you're right. You're right. There are different types of growls, and the low growl is one of the more dangerous ones. Now, Sanji, what does a tail wag mean?
Tail wag can mean a lot of different things. A tail
Okay,
wag can
cool.
mean, hi, how are you? A tail wag can also mean, I don't like you.
What do you think a growl means?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. My dog does a low growl. It's just to alert me. Like I've been saying, it's to alert me.
Oh, hold on. A growl. Okay. Just
So
take
the
it back for a
dog
second.
is talking to you.
Sure. Yes.
I literally, I work from home. Okay. I'm with this dog 24/7.
Okay. So, what do you think the dog is doing when they're low growling like that?
I'm with this dog 24/7.
What do you think the dog is doing? What do you think they're trying to say when they're low growling?
Hey, this person is not cool. Pay attention to me.
Your dog is saying, "Hey, I am not comfortable with this situation. If you don't listen to my warning signs, I'm going to bite you." That's what the dog's saying.
My dog doesn't bite though.
I don't care if your dog doesn't bite right now. It's not about
dog-
right now.
my dog
It's
is
about
3
you
years old,
ignoring
has
all the
never
signs
bit.
of
He
why
will
it's
not
made
bite.
behavioral changes
He's
to
not
give
allowed
warnings
to
that he
bite.
wants to bite if somebody continues. That's the problem.
Y'all sound like a lot of people that don't really have real connection with your dogs, and it's
Oh
weird.
my God, this lady.
Like if you have a dog, like have a connection with your dog.
I understand you having a bond with your dog.
I'm dropping you for
but when
that
you're-
nonsense because here's the problem, right? We have somebody up here that's spitting a bunch of nonsense. We're never going to change their mind, and I'm done with the conversation at this point because it's ridiculous for somebody to sit here and what's going to happen, right? Is they might get extremely lucky and never have anything happen. Great. But then there's also another 50% chance that that dog is going to hurt somebody badly.
You about Elias before, and SK9, I think I've told you about Elias before. Elias is great, but
Hello, Anonymous.
he is reactive, and he is
How are you?
dangerous, and I have to be on top of him. He has done low growls, he has done many things, and I correct him for it because there are certain situations where it's not okay. I don't care what's
Look,
going on.
my problem is how much shuffling they did, and I hope they're still in here to hear this. I don't work with dogs that are dog aggressive, but I have pit bulls. Oh, okay. I don't work with hounds. Because I don't work with dogs that are like gamey. You have pit bulls. My dogs are backyard bred. Oh no, my dogs aren't backyard bred, and so on. Like it's ridiculous the goalpost moving just because they think their dog is fucking special.
This girl, oh, she's still here. So she heard when I said,
Good.
is she like correcting for alerting? He's not alerting you. That's not an alert. An alert is when you teach a dog to task because whatever the fuck is going on, it's alerting you. It can maybe even a bark, but when it's growling,
It's the same thing as bullies. Bullies don't even explain it. They're not going to listen anyway. They're not even going to listen anyway. They're the same type of people that thinks their dog's being protective when they're being reactive. Some type of person, like it's ridiculous. Oh, my dog has an out. I taught it to lay down. They're like, what the fuck is that?
and some dogs, and like SK9 was saying, some of the best personal protection dogs don't have an out. You know what I mean? Like it's but the thing is like it's what she was describing, and I understand where she's coming from because no one wants to think their dog is going to do that until the dog does that. My dog would never.
And that's the
until it
fucking
never is.
problem.
Yes,
That's why I
know.
have these lives. That's why I have these lives, right? That's why I have these lives. Because there's too many people out there that have dogs with dangerous behaviors. They don't know what to do, right? Then we have too many people out there that are very misinformed that don't do anything until it's too late.
Okay, she just. If your dog low growls when someone walks in that, first of all, your dog is going to be barking when someone is at the door it doesn't recognize. Most likely. a low growl, and then what happens from that low growl when this person walks into your bedroom and invades personal space and
Okay.
intimate space? It's going to bite, or it's going to leave
Let's
you.
see. I just, these are simple questions, and the thing is, it always came with stories. Sanji, in the comments, you can answer this very quickly. It's a yes or no question. Have you taught your dog to alert? Have you trained your dog to alert?
He
Or
doesn't
is that
bark.
or is that a learned behavior the dog learned on its own?
She just said he doesn't bark. He growls. He's gonna low growl to alert me. He's gonna purr in my
So
ear
you've
to
taught
wake me
so
up.
so so you've taught the dog to low growl like that for alerting. Is that what you're
No.
saying now? Hold on, I'm just listening to what I'm seeing what Sanjay says in the comments. Is that what you're saying now? Bullshit. You moved the goalpost again. Bullshit. Because what you said while you were up here, is that the dog didn't used to do that until after you got yourself. No, sorry, you didn't get yourself. After your shitty ass boyfriend beat the shit out of you. I apologize for almost saying victim shaming or blaming. I did not mean to say that, right? I
You're good,
apologize.
you're good.
But when your shitty ass boyfriend beat the shit out of you and then it changed your dog's behavior, and that's when your dog started doing that. You did not train your dog to alert. Yeah, sorry, SK9. It's just I was in the middle speaking and the words were jumbled and it almost came out very poorly, and that's not me. Like, I'm not that person. So yes, I will correct myself on that shit.
What's today's date? The 24th, right?
Yeah, I think. Let's see. Yes. Hey, Anonymous, welcome to the live. Thank you for listening to our rant for a second. What brings you up to the panel?
No, you're fine. I was actually, you baited her right when I requested, because I don't know where to start with it, because I'm really confused how you guys have explained it in very simplistic terms, and I don't understand how she doesn't really understand it.
Denial.
You see my background? You see my background where it says your dog isn't special?
Absolutely, and it really
Okay, that's why. That's
blows
why,
my mind.
because they
I
think
know,
their dog
'cause
is special.
I say that like 50 times, and I can't comprehend it when you guys were sitting here for like 10 minutes she was giving you examples of like resource guarding and territorial aggression and all of these other things. Stating these are not types of aggression. When you look those types of things up, and it is literally a form of aggression, because if, like, okay, for example, I work with wolves, and granted, wolves are not domestic dogs, but there are so many traits that are shared. And even when I'm meeting with a wolf and they tell me they growl, they put their hackles up, there's different behaviors that they show me prior to escalating a situation, and every single behavior she just stated is an aggressive behavior saying you are crossing my boundaries and I do not want you to go any further. I will continue to escalate the situation.
No, and the problem is like I don't know how well you know me, but I'm sure you heard me say that for a living I work with reactivity and aggression. That's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to explain, and I did say this already. I'm trying to explain what I see constantly. I see constantly people with shock Pikachu face. Oh, my dog that I know like the back of my hand, like Sanji said in the comments, out of nowhere bit somebody or bit a child or whatever. It's like it never happens out of nowhere.
Yeah. Hold on, Sanji, I got a question for you. Your dog growls. You're saying it's alerting you.
Sanji, if you want to come back up so that way you can actually speak instead of having to wait in the comments, I'll let you back up. That's up to you though. Okay.
I think it's a really big issue, and it's not just.
All right. Hold on, I got a question for you, Sanji. I'm sorry, Anonymous.
I'm gonna keep myself muted for a while.
Yeah, so, Sanji, my question for you is this. You say your dog growls to alert you because someone is making you or making it uncomfortable. If you do not move away from that person, or that person does not move away from you, what is the next step your dog is going to take?
He will literally move behind me. I've raised this dog since a puppy, like before he was supposed to be away from his mother. Okay? So this dog is different than what you're thinking of. This is not like a dog that I just got. Like this dog knows my whole life. Like
I
if it's a
understand that.
situation like
Okay,
that,
so
that's why he alerts me.
all right,
Hold
let
on,
me
hold
let
on,
me
hold
let
on,
me
hold on.
let me show you. Let me tell you an example of a dog, right? So we have this dog. This dog was
Yes,
found
it's
on the
canine,
streets and stuff like
prematurely.
that, and the dog did exactly what you were explaining. Would go to a corner, pee themselves, right? And then eventually the dog would start growling, right? And then eventually, when nobody listened to that, the dog started biting, right? And then I'm called in because nobody can get near this dog without the dog latching on and ripping their arm open, right? So the thing is, because your dog is acting a certain way right now does not mean your dog isn't going to eventually do that. The problem is that it's like this: the dog is showing you all the signs, and if the dog continues showing everybody the signs and trying to communicate
You're
what its
misconstruing
discomforts
things.
are,
Okay, so
you're not listening. So if your dog is showing behavioral signs that is obvious that it is not comfortable with something and it continues to get ignored, the dog will communicate with their teeth. That is what dogs do.
And
right,
there's a
but it's
difference
never
between.
ignored. So hear me out. I
Okay.
work from home. Okay, I am with this dog literally 24/7 since his birth. There has
Okay.
never been a point in time that this dog has been away from me.
That's not good.
Okay.
That's not a good
Well, I mean,
thing.
it doesn't matter. Let's I'm not even going to say that's good or bad. Okay.
I will. It's not good.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to say it doesn't
How is
fucking
that
matter.
not good? I want to know how it's not good.
I'm not even going to say it's good or bad that you're with your dog 24/7, right? What I'm going to say, it doesn't fucking matter. How much time you've spent with your dog, it doesn't fucking matter if we're going to ignore its fucking behavioral signs.
So I correct him. I think that's where I think that's where all of this has been misconstrued. If he comes at me crazy or if he does anything crazy, there's the amount of correction that will happen.
Why would your dog come
Yeah,
out?
this is my first male
That
dog,
is,
so
so you said you've had
correction
him
will
since birth?
happen.
You've had him since he was born?
No, not since birth. But I've known him since birth. I've had him since 4 months, 4 weeks old. He
Since
wasn't
4
even
weeks?
supposed to be away from his. He wasn't even supposed to be away from his mom when I got him.
How did you end up getting your? Did you get your dog from a breeder?
No,
How did you end up procuring your dog then at 4 weeks?
So it was a birthday gift to me. They were actually selling these puppies for like $300-400.
Okay, so your dog was backyard bred.
I mean, you can say that, but they do have a pedigree. I just don't have the paperwork because I broke up with him
I
like
can type
literally right
out a
after I
fucking
got him.
pedigree.
Like I
Doesn't
broke
mean
up with
shit.
him after seeing the condition the dog was in. Like I broke up with my ex and like I had no more communication with any of them.
What do you mean the condition your dog was in? Your ex beat the crap out of your dog?
No, so the puppy was in very bad condition. Actually, if you look through my TikTok, you can see
What,
that
what do
he
you
was
mean
in
by
very bad
this?
condition.
I'm trying to line up everything. Is this ex the same ex that beat the crap out of you?
yes,
So, but I thought you just said when you saw the condition of the dog at 4 weeks, you had nothing to do with the ex. But now your dog's an adult and beat the crap out of you. Like it just things don't add
well, yeah,
up.
okay, I'm a female. Yes, I still brought him around, like, but I still
Then
didn't have
don't
communication.
fucking lie. Then don't fucking
I
lie.
didn't
That's
have.
what you
I
keep
still
doing. You
didn't
keep
have
coming
like.
up here and keep changing
I
things.
still didn't have communication with him. Like, yes, he was still around. I'm a fucking female. What do you want me to do? Like, I didn't
I'm
know
not
what I was
blaming
doing.
you. I'm not blaming you being a female for anything. What I'm not blaming that on you, right? That has nothing to do with it.
I
What I'm
messed
getting
up
at,
and
what
I
I
still
get it,
brought him
and that's
around, but I
fine.
did not have communication with the
How
original
do you
owners.
bring?
No.
Okay, but wait, I'm what? So
Dr.
the original owners, so the breeders.
Right. Which was
Okay.
not my ex. That was his people.
Okay. My head
His
hurts.
people, like what do you mean by his people?
Like he
People
called him
like
his brother.
family,
Like
friends, some shit like that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Sanjay, what did you say? I couldn't hear.
that was like his friend.
Sandra, you
Okay.
Hispanic?
Like if you look at my last video, you can see his dad. His dad used to come over to my house all the time.
Yeah, so it's just so many things throughout your dog's history, and what you've said to me on this live so far has hopscotched from one thing to the next to the next. So each time I've said something that calls certain things out to explain stuff, you've changed the narrative.
How am I changing the narrative? The narrative is still the fucking same.
I mean,
what are you talking about?
That's,
You've been making up your own
my dog's not
narrative.
backyard bred. Okay, my dog is backyard bred. Right.
I do not have his
That's
paperwork. No, I do not.
just because you have paperwork doesn't mean they're not backyard bred.
And it's
Right,
more.
and I
They're
never said she was
unethically
backyard
bred by somebody. They're unethically bred by somebody that's peddling puppies.
And on top of that, it's not just
But
that.
they don't peddle puppies. There's no more puppies.
Okay, regardless.
What were they doing when they were breeding the dog and selling them? What do you think that was?
They were breeding the bloodline.
For profit. They didn't care about anything when it comes to the genetic or behavioral traits. Hence, they got rid of the dogs at 4 fucking weeks old. They are poorly bred dogs.
I only got this dog because there was a drive-by at the house where the puppies were.
You literally just said it was a fucking birthday present. Again, changing the narrative.
And I drove by and I said, "Hey, where is my birthday puppy at? Where is my birthday puppy
So you're
at? I
saying
want my
you got your
puppy
birthday
right
present
now."
probably early because there was a situation at the house. So you
Yes,
went and got
and I
and
was
these
like, "Where's
people
my
still.
birthday puppy at?
Hold on,
I want the birthday puppy.
hold on, hold
I
on.
want it right now."
I get you. Hold up. So I get what you're saying. It was your birthday gift, and because there was a situation in the house, aka fucking drive by, you went and got your dog. Which these people said,
Because
hold on,
one of the
relax, I'm not
puppies
done.
was
You're not-
killed in the
I get,
drive-by.
yes, I'm not done because you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. And these people who freaking bred this dog said, "Fuck it, at 4 weeks, go ahead and fucking take it." Everything unethical. Everything was done wrong. What we're trying to get at.
No,
Yes.
he was the runt. He was the runt.
Okay, so how come?
From the
I have a question.
Like, they didn't even want him.
Okay.
But like, bro, like
Okay, so if they didn't even want them, but they were still selling them and this, that, and the other, they're doing it for profit. They don't give a shit about the fucking dogs. They're peddling dogs for money. Exactly what I just said a little bit ago when you said no, they're not. Because they're currently not. It doesn't fucking matter what they're currently doing because we're talking about your dog that you got from them when it was a fucking puppy. I don't give a shit what they're currently doing.
Go back in time. When you got that dog, that's what they did. It's not okay. Hold on, let's step back because everybody's attacking her, and that's not cool. That's
I
not
know,
cool.
and yes. Let me just say that I'm not trying to attack you, make you feel bad for getting this dog, right? Outright, I'm not. What I'm trying to do is get the proper narrative, so that way we can have a baseline of everything that's going on with this dog, so that way we can have a higher level conversation and understanding of the dog's behavior. Right,
Understood.
Because if the dog is acting a certain way because of past events and stuff, I want to really dissect this because me and you are in disagreements, and I'm trying to tell you certain things from a professional standpoint. You're saying no, you're wrong. I want to know how.
You know, I apologize. I came off a lot aggressively, and I'm very sorry.
It's your dog. You're gonna protect your dog. I get it.
Yeah.
Everybody here will. You know what I'm saying? And what Informer's trying to get at is like, hey, this growling thing, even though he's never bit anybody, can escalate.
But he's been doing that since a puppy, so it's like nothing new.
You said that was a new thing that he did after everything
Like
else.
the new, like a growling, like how do I explain it? Like, so the new, like growling at like the door and stuff like that. Yeah, that's new. So I live in an apartment, so like him growling like at the door, like, yeah, that's new. But like still when I take him outside, like he's still like super what's that word? Like he's super cool with everybody outside. I can walk him up to anybody and they're okay.
If you want me to, Sanji, DM me your email address. I will take this live and I will send you the freaking audio for it because all the TikTok lives are recorded, so that way you can go back and listen to it. and then you can listen to yourself changing things constantly.
What am I
Because
changing?
you didn't say anything about growling at doors. You were talking about growling at people this entire fucking time, and
He
now it's
didn't.
growling
I
at
never
doors.
said yes,
You said
growling at
growling at
people.
people.
Like when people walk up and he's uncomfortable, he
He
lets me
used to
know.
hide and piss himself, and then after you got
You're
your
taking
ass
things out of
beat
context. That's the
by that
thing.
shitty
You're
boy.
taking
I'm
things out
not.
of
I'm taking things
context.
literally from
You're
what you
taking
said out of
things
your own
way out
mouth.
of context.
No,
So
that's literally what you said.
yes.
That's why I'm trying
When
to get a
somebody walks
timeline.
up, when somebody walks up and they're a bad person, and that's a person I should walk away from, yes, he will do a low growl and let me know I
This is the
should
thing.
redirect myself,
Why
as
does
he
so?
should.
So you hold on. So okay. My point: staying focused on the grounding at people. Fucking just follow me for a second. You just said right now, and anybody else on this life, if I'm wrong, please call me out. Tori, I know you will. You just said if somebody comes up to you and he starts to growl because whatever reason the dog decides to growl, he's uncomfortable. The dog, it resembles something or whatever.
I will redirect the situation.
Okay, I understand that. My point being is, this dog shouldn't be growling just because this person walked up to you.
And he doesn't normally do that. That's what
But he
I'm
does it
saying.
sometimes. And because he does it
It's
sometimes,
very rare, like literally like once a year. Like he meets thousands of people. Like he is very well socialized. Very well socialized. I can walk him outside right now and he'll walk up to somebody and want to give him a hug. That's what y'all not understanding. Just because he does a low growl to like correct me, like
Informer, back to you.
Sorry, give me a second. My TikTok at the very end there, I heard the my dog's very well socialized, and then it kicked me for a second.
he is
And so
very
I'm
well
back.
socialized. I take him to like the pet store. Like all the people at the pet store love him. They love on
This is the
him.
same.
All
This is the
that.
same dog that you told me on the live last time that thinks that the public area where the dogs pee and poop and stuff, your dog thinks that it owns it, and then you argue with me hand and foot that that's completely acceptable behavior.
Who are you talking? You got me confused with somebody else. What are you
Are you
talking
sure?
about?
Okay. Okay. I might have gotten you confused with somebody else. It just sounds like the same dog. I apologize about that.
What are you talking about?
No, it just sounds like the same rhetoric. I again apologize about that. I got you confused. So
Can we move on to the topic to something else?
I mean, we can if you want to.
No, we're just beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah.
What is beating a dead horse? Like my dog is a good dog. Like I will introduce you to him today.
I don't
And
want
you
to
will
meet your
love the
dog.
heck out of him.
Background changing. All right.
That's
So
our
new
cool.
topic. Your dog isn't good. Prove me wrong.
I fucking hate you so much.
No, my dog is good. He's bad as hell, but he's good.
How's he bad as hell? I want to hear this oxymoron.
Cause he will jump on you when he first meets you. That's why I say he's bad as hell. Cause he will, like when he first meets you, he wants to jump on you and give you a hug.
How old is your dog?
He's 3 years old.
And what kind of bully you said he is? Because bully's
He's a bully. He's very friendly. He
What
is
kind of bully?
super friendly. He's a standard bully. He is super friendly. Very friendly. Like I said, like I was trying to tell you, I just met my neighbor downstairs for the first time. He just moved in. He said, "Hey, you have a beautiful dog." I said, "Would you like to meet him?" He said, "Yes, my mother has dogs." Sanji went right up to him and loved on him.
That's what's
Well,
up.
that's cool. That's cool. I would say a dog that low growls at people is not. It doesn't sound friendly to me.
No, he's very friendly. Like he only low growls when it's a dangerous situation. Like
You
just
told me
what
what
y'all
kind
not
of-
understanding.
What kind of dangerous situation?
So say I'm in a situation and there's like somebody with a gun, like he don't like guns. So if he sees a gun,
Why?
no, like for real, no, because that's what
Okay,
happened
so
when
if
you
this is a repetitive behavior that you've seen, you know, you said it doesn't happen often and stuff, but it's happened enough to where you know it's a behavioral trait of your dog,
and I
which means it's
control
repetitive
him.
behavior. Why are you putting why are you putting yourself in areas where people have guns? That's my real
I
question at this
don't.
point.
But why would I put my area? Well, why would I put myself in an area where
Because
people
you
who have
just said your dog is
Because you
tainted by
said your dog
guns.
does that when there's dangerous people around that have guns,
okay, but I live in a
and so if
city
your dog
where
is
people
doing
have
it.
guns. So
And
if
they just
I'm
Okay,
walking down the
but what I'm
street,
saying
somebody might
is,
have a gun.
if you have seen your dog do the behavior and the behavior is happening when somebody has a gun, for instance, that means there's been numerous times that people have pulled out
No,
guns
it's not.
in your vicinity.
No,
Then
it's
how
not.
do you know that the dog does that behavior?
He just knows what a gun is.
I mean, how do you know that the dog has that behavior if you haven't experienced that situation?
multiple times. They'd be like, "Oh, gun, gun, gun." That's the fucking norm. Versus guy in a beard, guy in a hoodie, guy in this.
Okay, the city I live in, a lot of people have guns. Okay,
I'm assuming they all open carry, or is it just like
not legally.
okay? So this is all illegal, like activities that we're talking about. Doing
It's a
hood
lot
rat
of
shit while hood
illegal
rat crime.
activities in the area I
Okay.
live in.
Got you. So when you go outside and if there so happens to be a dude with a gun and he has it like out, that's when your dog reacts.
He doesn't react. He just low growls. Let
Growling
me
is
know.
that's a reaction.
No,
When
he
I
just low
see
growls.
something, that's a
Listen, I don't know
reaction.
if you know what a low growl. Have you heard of a roddy
Yeah,
a
a
roddy
roddy
growl?
growl. A roddy growl is not a thing. I've heard. I've
That
seen.
is
I
a
know.
thing.
I know a lot of people that have roddies, and they're like, "That my dog doesn't fucking do that." I'm talking about guys that grew up with roddies back in the fucking
Over in the
50s,
woods.
60s.
Well,
Nothing like
I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Go look up 103rd Street. I used to live off of 103rd Street, and I promise you, I have seen exactly what you're talking
My
about.
dog
But
just
it's
alerts
extremely
me.
rare
My dog
that
just
I'm walking
alerts
around
me.
that
That's all it
area.
is. It's an alert.
But I'm saying it's extremely
So like,
rare that
so
even
like,
in a
so like,
really, really,
so like
really
when a
bad area,
pointer
that you're
dog
just gonna
like
have people
points
running
at a
around with pews everywhere.
okay, so like when a pointer dog points at a chicken or whatever the hell they point at. When they point at it, that's different from my fucking bully let me know, like, hey, that boy has a gun, let's walk away. He
So
doesn't do it to be aggressive.
okay.
He doesn't do it aggressively. It's not
So the
aggressive at
pointer
all. He's just trying to alert me.
genetically points because they have been bred to point. Your bully is not genetically bred to know what a gun is.
Okay, it's not
Sorry.
genetics. You know,
And then on top of that,
100%, it's
your
not
bully
genetics at all.
is your
It's not
is your dog a
genetics.
bully or
It's learned.
okay? Is your dog a bully or a Rottweiler?
He is a bully. It's not. It's
Then
not
stop.
genetics.
Then
It's
why are you talking
learned.
about a Roddy growl compared to your dog? Like, why was that even a thing you thought of?
Because y'all talking about a growl is just aggressive all the time. It's not.
Growling is an aggressive behavior, and I'm really confused.
No, it's not. A
Yes,
growling
it
is
is.
not an aggressive
Yes, it
behavior.
is.
You sound
Growling-
very
yes, it
slow
is.
saying that.
I am not slow. I am
Some
speaking
dogs
slow
just
so that
growl
you can
talking
understand
to
me.
you.
You can cut it with the attitude because you're not going to talk to me like that. I'm not being
Well,
disrespectful
I
to
don't
you.
care about
I
you.
am
I don't care
telling
about you
you
at all.
that it is an aggressive behavior, and you can argue
No,
with
it's
me all you want
not.
about
No,
it,
it's
but
not.
that
Do
is
you
yes,
own
it is.
dogs? Do you own
Growling is
dogs?
literally yes. I work with wolves, and I have
And I
3
feel
dogs.
very sad for you.
Okay, you can feel sad for
Because
me all you
wolves
want, but I have
growl as a
3
way
different
of
degrees of
communication.
I feel really
behaviors, and you
sad
need
for
to
the person
relax.
that
Wolves
gets
growl
mauled by
as
your
a way
You need
dog.
to
of
calm down.
communication.
Alright,
It's a
alright.
way of
You need to calm down.
communication.
Yes, and it is an aggressive communication because they are telling you to back off and that they are uncomfortable in the situation that they are in. I am asking you for your dog to be sitting there knowing what that type of behavior is from a human being. That is happening more than once a year, like you claimed before. Your dog is consistently showing behaviors that they're basically having warning signs around every single person because not only did you say that your dog consistently growls and has these uncomfortable behaviors when people walk up to your house, not your door, but you are
Wolves
also
growl
saying
as a way of
consistently
communication.
happening
So you
on the
like
street.
literally what you're saying makes no sense.
I know that's exactly what I am saying because
That's
that's
the
exactly
problem.
what you said. That's the
It's
entire
a
That's the
way
problem.
of
The reason, the problem,
communication. It is
the problem,
communicating.
Sanji, the problem
Aggressive
is because you don't
communication.
understand it. You're saying it makes no sense, right? It makes plenty of sense. You're
They
just being willfully ignorant right
growl,
now.
bark, all that is a way of communication.
And then
But
is a
what is it
negative
communicating?
communicative.
It is
What is
not
it
always
communicating?
aggressive.
It is aggressive. It is
No, it's
literally
not. So you're saying every time
communication
your
telling
wolves
you
growl,
to
it's
back off.
aggressive?
Yes.
That's
If
a
you walk
lie.
up, if you walk up to your dog, because you
I
just
know
said
for a
if it
fact you
growls
don't
at
raise
me.
wolves.
I literally
Okay.
work with them. Would you
So-
like
There's
some
no
pictures
way.
of me sitting
There's
with them?
no
I
way.
work with
Whoa,
red
there's
Sanji,
no
wolves.
way.
real quick, guys,
There's
guys,
so
guys,
many
guys, guys.
wolves
Host
that
speaking.
growl as a way
Host
of
speaking.
communication.
It's Sanji.
Host speaking. I
No.
muted you, Sanji, for a second. Sanji, you can unmute to answer this question. What does a growl mean?
Thank you.
A growl can mean many things. A growl can mean aggressive. A growl can mean, hey, look at me. A growl can mean many things.
What?
When does a growl mean, hey, look at me?
There's plenty of ways.
When-
You just need to
No.
know the
When?
animal.
That would be
Like
a
I
howl.
said, wolves growl as a way to communicate. That doesn't mean
Wolves
aggressive.
growl.
I got a
No.
question.
If you want to get into that, wolves growl to tell you to back off. And if you want me to show you videos explaining that, I absolutely can.
not true.
Because
Hold on,
when
really quick,
I
really
go
quick.
into a wolf's enclosure and they growl and show their
follow
teeth at me,
users
I back
that
away.
literally raise wolves.
Animals.
Yes.
Okay,
don't waste your
so
breath.
first
Wait,
off, let's
I got
let's
one
first
question.
say
One question, please.
let's
Just let
first
me ask
explain dogs and wolves are yes, they come from a common ancestor, but they're very different animals.
Yes, thank you.
So behavioral traits, you know, can be similar, but also very, very vastly different. But a growl is a growl.
Hold on, one question, really quick before we continue. Sanji, does your dog talk back to you when you talk to it?
You can unmute. You can answer that.
That was-
100%, yes.
Does it talk back to you when you talk to it?
Yes.
Okay. That explains a lot. That's all I need to know.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so-
Why is that all you need to know?
Because you say your dog talks back to you when you talk to it. That's all I need to know.
Go ahead, proceed.
So my
no,
what-
I want to know what was your
Sanji,
reasoning for that
Sanji,
question.
Sanji, what's operant conditioning?
I'm sorry.
What's in learning theory, how we train dogs, what's operant conditioning?
I'm sorry.
What is operant conditioning? There's a reason for me asking this.
You said, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, operant conditioning.
Operant conditioning. I don't
Yep.
know. I don't train dogs.
Okay, what's classical conditioning?
I do not train dogs. I train my
Okay,
dogs.
then how can you sit here so half-cocked that you know everything about dog behavior when you don't
I'm
even know
not
the most
saying
basics
that.
when it comes to training dogs?
I am literally sitting here protecting my dog because you guys are
Yes,
saying that
and
my
you
dog
are
growling.
you're ignoring professionals in this industry that works with these types of dogs with these types of behaviors, saying no, you're fucking wrong. That's the fucking problem, Sanji.
Literally, my dog doesn't fall into that condition. I'm sorry. My dog has been ran away and went to a shelter, and they were like, "Oh my god, your dog is fucking different."
Your dog went to a shelter now? I thought you went and picked it up for a birthday present when it was 4 weeks
No,
old
my
from a
dog
backyard
ran
breeder.
away, and I had to pick him
Oh,
up from
okay.
the shelter.
Your dog ran away. Gotcha. I apologize. I
Not
heard
ran
that wrong.
away. He ran
they-
off.
And they told you you have a great dog.
Yes, 100%.
When it's away from you. When you're nowhere near it, it's great. When you're
No.
around it, it growls at people.
Y'all are weird. Y'all are very fucking weird. Y'all are the weirdest people ever.
I mean,
Y'all like literally try to make
guess-
dogs like they're not fucking souls. Like they have no soul. Like a
Dog.
dog like just isn't
No.
doesn't have its own thing.
No. You're humanizing dogs, and that's an issue. So no, I believe dogs are opportunistic predators. I
Yes.
believe we need to treat dogs like dogs, and we need to understand that they have little knives in their mouths. And when we start ignoring behaviors and signs of aggression that can lead to something extremely dangerous, especially with a powerful breed that wasn't bred very well, we're doing a very
Very fucking funny
justice
because
for
my
our
dog will
dog
not
as well as for
bite.
the people
My
around.
dog will not bite at all. You can literally
Okay.
punch
Do
this
you
dog in the
think your
face
dog
and he will
loves
not
you
bite
like you love it?
Okay, so Sanji, what I want you to do is I want you, if you're not following me, go ahead and follow me, and then I want you in 2 years from now come back on my live so we can discuss how your dog is.
and he's still gonna be the same sweetheart that he is. You can watch my page and
Yeah,
see
he might
how
be
he
very
is.
sweet. He might be very sweet cremated. Because when your dog decides to bite the wrong fucking person, that's what's going to happen.
He does not bite. That's what you're not getting. My dog is not allowed to bite. My dogs are all trained. You are not allowed to bite.
Your dog.
And how did you train the dog to not bite?
Shit, I just fucking did. You want me to train your dog not to bite? Cause I can.
No, I'm no. I just fucking did is not an answer. I'm asking you how you personally trained your dog not to bite.
I literally put my hand in his mouth since he was a puppy.
That's
Okay, so you got him used to having your hand in its
Okay.
mouth. How
And
did you
I've
train
done
the
this
dog
to
not
other
to
dogs.
bite?
I've done this to other dogs. Go ahead and bite me and find out what happens.
Okay, and I'm confused. So when you put your arm in the dog's mouth, how are you telling the dog find out what happens?
she talks to it and it talks back.
No, these are serious
ignorant.
questions. I want to know. I'm trying to. 'Cause
Okay,
you've
so
already told
if
me you're not.
if they actually bite me, I do exactly what I'm supposed to do. I grab them by the back of their neck, and I pull them up and I lay them down.
So you alpha roll a dog. Okay. So how do you know that's exactly what you're supposed to do? Did you watch too much Caesar Milan?
No, I grew up raising dogs. I'm sorry, sir, that you don't.
Okay. So
understand
how do you know?
dogs
How do
work.
you know? How do you know that's exactly what you're supposed to do?
Because that's what I did my whole life.
Okay, so just because you do something over and over again doesn't make it right. So how do you know how do you know that's exactly what you're supposed to do?
What does a mother dog do when a dog is being bad?
Okay, when the dog is being too much, yeah, the mother dog is going to correct the shit out of that dog. I'm
And
asking
how does
you.
she do it?
I'm asking with their mouth, with their fucking mouth. Now, what
Right,
do you?
and what
How
does
do
she do
you
with her
know?
mouth? What does she do
She
with her
fucking
mouth?
bites them. She bites them. That's
She
what
does
they
not
fucking
bite
do.
them. She does not bite them.
Admits that.
Grabs
They
them
fucking
by
nip.
the-
They
by their-
fucking
by
nip. They
their nap.
correct. They don't alpha roll
She
their fucking
grabs
dogs. They
them by
nip their
their
fucking
nap
dog.
and pulls them up. You know what that does? When you grab them by their nap and pulls that up, that's basically
So every
choke
single
them.
mother dog, when they correct their puppies, they do it exactly like that every time. Gotcha. Okay, so now let me go back to the original question, right? How do you know
Oh, have mercy.
that rolling your dog like that is what you're supposed to do?
Has it failed me?
Because
since?
I've done it. Because I've done it is not a good answer.
Has not
How do
failed
you
me
know?
since. All my dogs
How
have
do you
been
know?
amazing dogs. All my dogs have been
sounds
What
like you
good.
have
research
very
have you
submissive dog.
done on dog
I
training?
don't care
What
about
research have you?
So y'all all about like
Exactly.
every
That's the
dog-
fucking problem,
every dog
Sanji.
is
You
the
are
same.
fucking.
Every
You are
dog
sitting
is
here the
same.
entire
Every dog
time.
is this.
I don't care.
Every dog is that.
Every dog.
Y'all
No,
are
I'm not.
weird.
I am talking
are
about
weird.
fucking canine behavior, and that is basic behavior across the board.
But your
Now, what I'm
behavior
telling you
makes
is,
no
if
sense.
because you're
What do you
willfully fucking
mean?
ignorant. If you are
No,
willfully
your
ignorant and do not want to
behavior
do
makes
a
no sense.
fucking,
And you,
if you do not
know
want to
what?
do
I'm
an
gonna
ounce,
say this right now. I'm gonna say this right
no,
now.
you're not.
a
You're
big
gonna get
part.
muted. Is what you're gonna fucking do. All right. So what's the problem is that you're not gonna fucking read any type of fucking studies or research. You're not gonna look into any fucking basic training, and behavioral training or obedience training, and then you're gonna come up here and talk to professionals telling us that you know how to train dogs. Fuck that. Get off my fucking panel.
Holy
Fucking
shit.
A, man.
What I got from this
Holy
was
shit, man.
she has dogs that are, for some reason, well, they're bullies, are a little bit submissive. So she was able to do things that have worked for her, but has not come across, like, say, like a dog that SK9 has, a Dutchie, where you're trying to do this shit, it's gonna maul your face. You know, so with this, so if you have no clue on
Like,
tools,
jeez, man.
It's
Oh
excellent
my
content.
gosh.
all
Yeah,
right,
it
guys.
was very good content.
Yeah, it was. I had it. This was a fun live.
I'm sorry I missed most of it. But my Alfredo was fucking bomb.
No,
If that
and
makes you feel better about it.
here's the problem. Okay,
I
thank you,
care,
Meg.
RTG.
The problem that I was having was like that I'm fighting with myself right now is that, and especially when we go back to the beginning of when they came up, I actually enjoyed them up because when we had the original topic and stuff up, it was good. It was good conversation. They were in very and much so agreeance until they brought up their own personal dog, and then it just went to shit so fast. And I am going to look at my old content because I am almost 100% sure that same exact person had an argument with me one time because their bully in their apartment complex likes to basically be protective, is what they said, protective over the public dog potty area, and their dog's allowed to be off leash in that little area even though it's not supposed to be off leash. I'm pretty positive it was the exact same person. But and they said they weren't, but they also said a bunch of things and then changed the narrative over and over again. So yeah, it's just whew, people blow my mind sometimes, man. Like every so often we have a really good live with a lot of high level content and talk and education. Then once in a while we'll have a live. It doesn't matter if the topic's spicy or not, that just somebody comes up and says some ridiculous nonsense. Bullies, you weren't around at the time. This was a long time ago. It's you can find it's on one of my first couple podcast episodes where somebody came up to argue about punishment versus reward based training, and they were basically arguing about clicker training a polar bear, and it was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous, the conversation we had, and it was like, man, this is good stuff.
I don't think I've ever actually fucking heard that before. I'm actually kind of impressed with that, but I've worked with bears and I've never considered clicker training.
So zoo animals, zoo animals use a lot of. So zoo animals use a lot of positive reinforcement clicker style training to, like, for instance, a bear to present an arm to draw blood, right? The thing is, and here was the argument, I'll just like cliff note it for you, is that I was basically saying that Karen Pryor, who revolutionized clicker training, is a joke, right? But I never said anything about what she did is a joke. I just said Karen Pryor is a joke, right? Guy came up after reading her book called Don't Shoot the Dog. All offended that I said that, right? He starts bringing up clicker training. I'm like, no, clicker training is great. I think it's awesome, right? But they were bringing up zoo animals and how, for instance, you clicker train a polar bear to present their arm and stuff. And I'm like, and are the handlers inside the cage with the polar bear? No. And I'm like, and why not? Because they're predators. I'm like, I know. So stop comparing dogs to polar bears. They're not, this is why we have punishment for dogs as well as reinforcement, because we ask these dogs, these opportunistic predators, to sleep in bed with us, right? You're not doing that to a polar bear.
Yeah, even our dogs, even our high content wolf dogs, we don't. That's good. I get that. That's a little.
Well, you know what's funny for me? So I'm not really on your lives a lot. I come in, I hear you out, I'm like, I like this stuff, and I'm usually scrolling through. But I never really heard you argue with anybody like that before. Maybe you have.
I normally don't.
Yeah, because
I normally don't.
Yeah, because there's moments like me and you don't always agree on everything at the same time when we talk. But I respect a lot of the stuff you say because I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what she was. She was like, I don't agree with this, but there's a level to it. Like, you might not agree with something, but we're not telling you like, hey, your dog needs to learn this way. It's more like, hey, what that growl means is this. This is just across the board. Bam! This is what a growl means.
It's like trying to say, hey, the sky's blue. Nope, don't agree. You're like,
yeah, exactly.
like what the hell? Yeah. It's oh man. Yeah. So I do have some lives where I do get heated. But most of the time, it doesn't matter what training methodology you prescribe to. It doesn't matter what your opinions are and stuff. I can have a normal conversation, a decent one, even if we disagree, and we can be friends at the end of the day. But there's every so often some Muppet comes in and just sputes some nonsense. And it's just like, I just can't
I have no more. Like, if you notice at the beginning of the conversation, throughout most of it, I was very calm. I was like very matter of fact, but I was calm. But towards the end there, I was like, fuck no, get the fuck off my panel. Like I'm done
It
with
all
this
started when she
conversation.
started, and she. I could be wrong, but I feel like she started insulting everybody. For you guys are weird. Like, what are y'all
Yeah,
talking
no,
about?
I know. I heard that too because they had nothing else they could go with, right? And I mean, that's the most polite way, I guess, to name call, but it's name calling nonetheless, you know? You know, it's just, oh man. All right. Like, actually, I think that is number 2 of me telling somebody to get the fuck off my panel. The second time I've ever had to do it. And actually verbalize it like just like that.
I want SK9 on a panel. You have to do it at some point because she's hilarious in the chats. I can only imagine the shit she's gonna spew when she's up here.
Yeah, no, it's Akita. I don't think defensive people tend to insult. I think it's uneducated people that think they're educated on a topic, and then when their level of expertise is called out, it hurts their ego, and then they insult.
No, I insult because you start to frustrate me because you're retarded. But like, I asked her, you talk to your dog? Does it talk back to you? Yes. Okay. Okay.
I would love
Yeah,
to.
at least insult creatively. Yes, creatively. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna insult creatively, man. You could do something better than calling me weird. I mean, calling me other names is not gonna, depending on the name, because certain things, you know, I will not allow up here, right? But you know, I mean, you can call me a vast majority of things. I'll keep you up because it's great content.
I'm Hispanic. I can say fucked up shit. All right, I'm letting you know now.
I don't know why she was coming for me so hard. I
Patrick,
didn't
you're a
even
sandal wearing
be
freak.
an asshole to her.
So,
I was seeing that
man,
in
there
the
was.
chat.
I was still
Animals,
trying to be
you
professional
came
the
at
whole
her.
time.
You would not talk to me that way. Oh, I was goddamn. Okay.
I literally didn't
No.
do fucking anything to her, and I like started off so calmly, and I was like, I just have a couple of questions before I say anything. And she was like, no, I don't think you actually know anything at all, and I don't think you've ever
Yeah.
worked with a dog in your life. I don't think you even own one. I was like, hold
Well,
the fuck on. Like,
Yeah, that's
what
why I
is your
muted her right after
problem?
that because I wanted you to say whatever you wanted to say. Yeah, I mean that's the big reason why I even asked her about like, you know, I asked a question, she starts going into a story. I'm like, I don't want to hear about, you know, I don't want to hear bedtime stories. I want to hear the answer to the question. It's simple. Answer the fucking question.
Here's the other thing with it too. If your female dog is having to actually go after her puppies, either one, you're keeping them in way too small of an enclosure and she is way over threshold, or B, she has a temperament that you shouldn't be breeding. Because
So,
like
yeah.
even like if you watch like Captain Shiny, what is her Jackie and her Dutchies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, her Dutchies, the male and the female, are both very high level, you know, IPO dogs, and I think she does IPO or Schutzender. They're all basically the same. Anyway, you know, but never once did, you know, either of her Dutchies go after those puppies. And we all know little Dutchie puppies are tiny velociraptors.
Yeah, some dogs are like that, and it's up to you as the owner, breeder, handler, whatever, to see where your dog is. What's the capability, not the capability? Is it genetic? Is it not genetic? And see what you do with it.
But my dog's special. My dog's not like that. It's special. Shock
Oh my
Pikachu
God, she
face when he
said-
bites somebody. Fucking A.
The amount of times she said that, the amount of times that you guys compared her dog's behaviors to like 100 other types of like problematic behaviors, and she was like, well, my dog doesn't
My
fit
dog.
into that narrative. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like, that's literally
I
the
just thought
point
it was
does.
funny. I just thought it was funny. Like, I'm so glad I have all these different backgrounds saved because right when she's like, my dog's a good dog, I just switched it to your dog's not a good dog background. The shit was so funny.
Like, my dog isn't a good dog. I'll be the first to admit it. He's a fucking asshole. But I love him. I manage him the best I fucking can. And he's great with the people he's great with. But if he's not good with you, I don't bring him around you. I know he's a fucking cockhead.
Not a cockhead.
It is what it is. You gotta be real with it. You gotta be
Can
real.
we appreciate that little like mic drop moment where I said, "Talk to me in 2 years." She's like, "Yeah, my dog is still gonna be whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, under the ground or like
That
cremated." I
was
said
so
cremated.
It'd be
funny.
sweet and cremated. That was
Oh
hilarious.
my god, I said it so quick, and then she was silent for a while.
It was really honestly like the best part about anything was the amount of times that you brought anything up to her and she would just have to think about it, and then she would say something that she's already said 10 times. Oh, well,
Oh,
my
but
dog's
it
not
but
like
it
that.
but changed. But it changed. The goalpost kept changing. The narrative
It was
kept
so
changing. Like I don't have a backyard bred dog.
Bro, but I'm not
Oh,
gonna
but I have
lie.
a backyard bred dog.
She wasn't the type
I don't like to work with dogs or keep dogs that are aggressive towards animals. I have a bully. Um,
I don't
Come on,
understand
girl.
the
By the
narrative
way,
at
when I
all.
was looking up bullies more, I don't know. I saw everything in there, pocket bully, all this. I didn't see a standard bully.
No.
I don't know what that is. I could be wrong. I'm not familiar with every dog breed.
I'm just very impressed that she knew that tail wags don't just mean happy.
I was
I'm impressed on that. Yeah.
So I'm in several like reactive dog groups on Facebook, and there's one this lady posted the other day, and I see this post at least once every couple months by somebody different. My dog went over the fence and went after somebody who was walking down the street. They're telling me it's a dangerous dog, but they're really a good dog, and I don't want to have to put him down. And I'm just like, denial is a river in Africa, and you live in the United States.
Yep. That's the reason. That's the reason for these backgrounds. People were getting upset earlier when I had the your dog is not special, or your dog's not a good dog background. After I explained the reasoning for it, which I explained to bullies over here earlier, was the fact that there's too many people that think their dog's special, so that they ignore dangerous behaviors because their dog's special. And I even told her, I'm like, you're a prime fucking example of this background, right? The whole your dog's not a good dog, the same fucking thing applies. There's too many people that get dogs from like shelters, for instance, that they're like, my dog's a good dog. They keep telling themselves that rhetoric and ignore all the dangerous behaviors and all the signs, and then their dog has to get euthanized for mauling somebody, right? Like it's a problem.
I don't understand how she kept saying that her dog, like, when I first joined, she kept saying that her dog was always at the window barking at people or having like a low growl, especially if they didn't like them. And then she changed it and said that it only happened like once a
When they have a gun?
year. And then I was
It was
really
such a.
confused
It was.
when
It
she
kept-
said that it happened more
But no, it was,
consistently
but
right
it
after
changed.
that.
But I don't know if you were in here before that when it didn't used to happen. The dog used to, cower and pee on themselves until the dog was an adult and her shitty ex-boyfriend beat the crap out of her, and then that's when the behavior started. But now it's not that the behaviors had already been there, and now it was just at the door. But
Wait, but then
no,
before
it's been
you
happening its
booted her,
entire life, and I'm just like, the
I'm
fuck.
so
It's
confused.
escalating.
Right before you booted her, she said that it started when she was a puppy, like when her dog was.
I know she said that because we've already called everything out. That's the timeline has changed 10 different times.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Like
Oh
that
my
one
God.
chick with that big old gator style bully, that with the improperly fit muzzle that you sent me the other day, Patrick.
Oh no.
And it went after that dude.
Yeah.
You know, she's like,
God,
he's
yeah.
protective. And then she's like, he's so sweet and cuddly, and like laying on top of her, showing all these discomfort signs, lip lick, side eye, whale eye, look away.
So this is how I know that people respect my opinion. Is the only reason why I saw that is because what they're doing now is they're DMing me videos like that and asking me to make commentary on it. I'm like, okay, if this is what people want, then I'll just keep DMing me videos of dog training that you might see as inappropriate, or DM me of dog behavior that you're like, oh, they're saying it's one thing. Can you talk about it? Absolutely, I'll make videos.
That is
I'll keep making
style.
videos. Jeez, man. Oh man, this dog was bad, man. If you want to, bullies, it's one of my more recent videos over the last couple days or whatever. It's one of those more recent ones. This lady has this freaking massive like XL bully. It's pretty much what it is, and it is just they're laughing at it, they're taunting it, and then they're like, they're you know, the dog is trying to go after anybody, and then on top of that, they're not even muzzling the dog properly, where they don't have it connected to the collar, so the muzzle is just like slipping upwards to where the dog can physically bite if it wanted to.
It slips the muzzle in another video.
Listen, I'm not an expert, but I don't think people understand XL bullies. These large, basically Molossaur breeds were made for a purpose, and people are treating these dogs.
Hey, can you let Frosty up?
Sorry, these dogs were made.
Yeah, I can. I'm just letting y'all know in a couple minutes I am ending the live because it's almost 3 a.m. for me.
Got you. And like these people are like, oh, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna hug it and squeeze it and then joints it. And it's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember that, but they treat these dogs.
Yeah, the giant orange thing from Bugs.
Yes, thank you. Oh, you're my friend now. I'm not gonna lie, I was hurt at one point because I grew up with a lot of dogs and they were all great until I got my recent dog. And then that's where I started learning all this shit. Started talking to people, started apprenticing under people. And it's like, I knew nothing before this dog because I thought it was all about how you raise a dog. And like, no, some dogs are just dicks. You're not paying attention to the subtle signs and this and the other. And it's in defending her, she hasn't come across an issue where she's going to be like, oh shit, I was wrong. Because she hasn't learned it. You don't know what you don't know, unfortunately.
Okay, so motherfucker is mad. Y'all were right in this situation?
Yes.
No, they were being willfully ignorant is what it was. They didn't want to listen to anything. They won't even look up anything about dog training and stuff because they've lived with dogs their whole life, so they must know what they're doing. Yeah, I'm heading out right now, y'all. So y'all have a wonderful night.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pop on my own live because if history for the last couple weeks has shown anything, I'm not going to sleep for another 2 hours.
Me as
Wait,
well.
who's live?
It's I'm about to get you up, homie. Yeah, have a good night.
All right, good night, y'all.